Surrounded regions. I'm going to turn this into Swift. Ideally, I want to code in Python, but I have an interview coming up in Swift, so just doing some practice. You are given an m by n matrix board containing letters X and O's or zeros. Capture regions that are surrounded. What? Containing letters X and O. Capture regions are surrounded. There's connect. A cell is connected to adjacent cells horizontally or vertically. Okay. A region to form a connect every. To form a region connect every O cell. Surround. The region is surrounded with X cells. If you can connect the region with X cells and none of the region cells are on the edge of the board. So these are different capture regions. Let me continue reading the thing. To capture a surrounded region, replace all O's and X's in place within the original board. You do not need to return anything. Okay. What is this type? In and out. What? Hold on, Python. List of strings. Huh. I haven't seen that before. Now there's an example here. Should I create my own example? You know what? I'm gonna focus on the concept and try this question with the example given rather than thinking of it on my own. So we have this example here. We have this board, and this is the output. Okay, so I love this visual diagram. I can't really comprehend what's going on here. So in the above diagram, the bottom region is not captured because it is on the edge of the board and cannot be surrounded. So containing essence. Okay, it's like capturing this piece of land or people, or I don't know, capturing something, right? And you have to have a connect is a cell connected horizontally or vertically. To form a region, connect every 0 cell. Okay, so this is a region, right? The region is surrounded by X cells if you can connect the region with X cells and none of the region cells are on the edge of the board. Okay, so none of these are on the region. None of these are on the edge. And you can connect the region with X cells, and that is true, right? Horizontally and vertically in all directions. Well, except these two. These two are. Well, I guess this counts as a region though, so we're considering both of them at the same time. This one's on the edge, so that's why it's not captured. But is there another way this can be captured? I don't know. This is example 2. If you just have an X like that, output. Well, okay. Well, let's ask some clarifying questions. So we can only have X's and zeros in this board. what is the range of M and N? Like, can it be empty? Or is 1 the minimum? And yeah, honestly, that's really all the question I have. Okay, so it can be 1. And yeah, all the other constraints are things I've already considered. Now, I'm trying to consider, are there like, okay, so we know that O on edge cannot be captured. Like that, it's basically pretty clearly stated over here. None of the region cells are on the edges of the board. What if there's a 0 here? Could this region be captured then? By definition, it says the region is surrounded with X cells if you can connect the region with X cells and none of the region cells are on the edge of the board. So I think if this was an X here, this region could actually not be captured at all. I think. So O means the entire region for that O cannot be captured. Right? What's another way that, like, if we had 2 diagonals here and X's were just kind of all around? Yeah, so if an O is anywhere in this line over here, it can't be captured. If it's anywhere in here, doesn't matter how many there are, like it can just be these 2 here, they're going to be captured because it's surrounded from all 4 directions, right? All 4 directions, all 4 directions. Okay. So what it seems to me as a human, as I'm going through this, right, I'm looking for cells with an O. When I see a cell with an O, I'm confirming, well, I can check for X's around it, right? And if X's are all on 4 sides, then that region can be captured. So we want to capture a surrounded region, replace all O's with X's in place within the original board. You do not need to return anything. So if there's an X around every single component, every single direction of O, then you can capture it. And then in place, you can be like, okay, turn this into an X. For a longer one like this, so we see there's an O on our right side. So it's like, we can like, whenever we see an O, we have to go to that O and check all directions. Okay. And so imagine this O wasn't here, right? It was just these 2 right up here. After we check this, we know X's are all sides except the left. But we know, like I see that all sides of this O have X's except the right. So how can we communicate that fact to the O's? Like for this O, I guess, well, the second it's on an, like at the second it's, okay, so when could this be a problem? This can be a problem when there's an O over here, O anywhere here on the edges. Okay. So if there's an O anywhere over there, we can't go forward. Like this, whatever the region we're looking at, that entire region is like maybe there's a boolean or something, but it's like cannot be captured, this region, right? And then you have to like kind of keep a note of this in like a visited set, and if these O's have been visited already, then you can't capture them. Okay? But like when we get here and we see all the surrounding is already covered by X's, and this visited like node is already considered for, then we don't need to worry about this left side. We just need to worry about the other sides. Okay, but now there's a third one right here. So let's bring this one back. So when we come down here, we know all three directions are already covered. We know the top two are already covered, so the up direction is already considered for. It's already in the visited set. So we can, you know, when we see that all of the other edges are good to go, then we capture this entire area. Now how do we... So now I need to turn this one, and that one, all of them into X's. So do I need to keep like another Q for that? Yeah, maybe I need to consider like and keep keep something for that. Okay, so let me try and write this out. I don't want to get lost in the syntax of things. But yeah, let me write out some code. It doesn't have to be like Swift specific. I can change that afterwards. Okay, so for I range, for Jane range, for Jane range, probably want like a rows and column up here. I don't like this is gonna cause me problems, isn't it? How do you write pseudocode? Like I don't want to worry about all this stuff. Okay, let me just keep on going, and then I'll just rewrite the entire thing if I get confused. So we have this. We need to check if board I, J, maybe row and R and C would be better terms. R and C is equal to O. And we'll need like a visit set. So visit, and then we have like a set here. And RC not invisited. We want to call like a BFS algorithm with these RNC values. And yeah, that's about it. And then this breadth first search algorithm, BFS, RNC, maybe row and column, and then we need a queue, and then we need so like row and column, and then we need visited dot append row and column. Is that, I don't know if it's append or add into a set. Let's just keep going, and then while queue, okay, we have 4 directions: up or right, left, up, and down. For DRDC and directions, updated row, updated column, in all those different directions. So R plus DR will need to actually pop from this. So q.pop, and we'll just like consider the row and column over there, and then what? And then if updated row and range rows. Okay, if updated column and range columns. I'm noticing I'm using commas, and that's like the standard in Swift, and then in range it's the standard in Python. I'm like mixing the two up now. This could really screw me over in an actual interview, I feel. But let's keep going. So all this. Board, updated row, updated column is equal to oh, is that true? Well, like, so I'm determining when I want to like append to the queue and keep this breadth first search algorithm going. So I know I want something like this. And for the visited, should I append it here? Or should I append it somewhere else? And updated row, updated column, not in visited. I know after this queue ends, I do need like another set to describe the region, or so, or maybe an array. I don't know. Okay, and then I gotta go through this region. Maybe it stores the indices, and then go through this region. Go through region and update to hexes, right? And then region captured. Is region captured maybe? So we'll kind of keep it as false. Otherwise we'll make it true. So if this is not true, right? If updated row not in range rows, or updated column not in range columns, then we know we can actually like is region captured will be false. So should I set this to true actually? I know this for a fact. Yeah, if region captured. Do I need to consider like a check for X, or is that not needed? Code is a bit tough. I'm using my knowledge from number of violence here. I think I used a bit too much knowledge from there. Hold on. The drawing board is. Okay. So imagine we're here. We do a check up here. And none of these checks are going to go true. Well, sorry, this isn't, this specifically I know will go true. And that's enough for me to continue on to the next direction. Right? X, so these won't run. And this one, it will run. Okay? And we append that to the queue. If at any case the reason why this failed was because of this, we set this to false. And I think that's fair. Because that means it's on an edge, like on a corner somewhere. Like, you know what I mean, like any of this. And then let's go down here. So now we're on this one. Check up there. We know this is already in the visited, so we're not gonna kind of go on that path. We know here. One check actually. Regions, not append. Updated our row and column. There we go. So that's needed. And then we check here, check here, check here. All those checks will go false. And so there's no more in the queue. If we check here, is region captured will still be true. And thus it will go through regions and update the X's for all of those in place. And I think that's, yeah, like, I don't see a problem with that. So now let me actually like fix this up. So visited. I'm gonna do a set, and I think this is the way to do it in Swift. And then rows, we need a variable up here. We can set this to a let. We don't need it as a variable, we can have it as a constant. And then rows, we can do board.count, and then board1.count, and we can do this safely because and minimum can be 1 at a minimum, right? Yeah. And then down here, for R and range rows, so for R and 0 rows, for C and 0 columns, if board RC is equal to O, I think I keep on saying O or 0. I should probably be a bit more consistent with that. Sorry. And I can't do this in Swift, but I can do something like visited.contains RC. I also should probably be returning. No, I don't need to actually return anything. Yep, I don't need to return anything. Yeah, you don't need to return anything. So for search, we come here, I'm gonna change that to a function. Underscore there, underscore there. This should be an integer. This should be an integer too. And we don't need to return anything, so I think it's okay if we don't write anything there. So now we need a queue. So var queue like that. I don't know if there's like a dequeue kind of thing that can help us with what's it called? Like similar to how Python has dequeue. I'm not sure if Swift has something similar, but I'll use an array for now. And then var region. Should I have this as a set or an array? I don't think it really matters, to be honest. But this shouldn't be. Yeah. Store indices, and then this should be true. And then if region this, then we can run some code there. And while queue is empty, not empty, and then we want queue.remove first. Can I set it like this, or is that gonna cause some problems? I don't know. We have directions, DRDC, and then I think I'm just gonna have to over here just do them on separate lines. I don't think Swift likes the fact that I do some line. I don't know if there is a Swift equivalent to how Python has multi-line assignments. So if updated row is greater than or equal to 0, updated row is less than rows. Updated column, same thing, greater than or equal to 0, updated column less than columns. This I don't know if this is going to give me a syntax errors or not. Let's see. And then updated column, similar to what we had here. Just want to include it like this. Updated row, updated column. Q append, visited.append, visited regions.append. It might be add for sets, but let's see. And then if any, so if any of this is not true, right? This and like this. And I think or is actually represented like that. And like this. Then we can set this to be false. And we also want to change that semicolon over there, and then if is region captured, then we go through can I do this for RC, for R and C? And regions. Don't know. Doesn't seem right. So I'm just gonna stick with the default. Just like simple like this. Board IRC is equal to X. All right. Oh man, I'm tired after doing that. Wow. So now let's run through this example. So for all of these kind of elements, it won't do anything because of this check. But the second it reaches this, that's when all of this starts. And that's the first time it starts, so BFS. We come here, row, column, Q, row, column, visited.append, row, column, region, stores indices, which is just row and column, and it is region captured, which is set as default true. So while Q is empty, var rc q.remove. I'm curious to see if this works. Directions, we need a var here. Can I set this as let actually? I think so, yeah. Same thing here. Can I set this as let? And same thing here. Let. Not a huge deal, but just something to consider for DR and directions. I think this might give me problems. Let dr is equal to direction 0. Let dc equal to direction 1. Don't like this, but let me just do that. If updated rows greater than or equal to 0, updated rows less than rows, updated columns greater than or equal to 0, updated columns less than columns. Like so, it's just a range of rows and columns. Then we have board updated row and updated column as O, and that is correct. This one is, in fact, that. And visited that contains updated row, updated column. Yeah, that's true as well. So then we do all of this. So this region we actually need to do something about this. So we actually do need to store the initial row and column. But if this is not a valid thing to consider, then we should probably just get out of it, and it's going to restart this entire BFS flow for the next, like, for this particular O, for example. Okay, so that's that. Checks all the other signs. Also, other signs are X's. Comes here, now it moves on to this one. I'm just gonna name this Q element. Do let R is equal to Q element 0. C is equal to Q element 1. I'll see if there's any syntactical sugar, like syntactical like practices. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't even know the word actually, but I think you understand what I mean. Directions for direction, DRDC, updated column. All the different directions. It's going to be down this time, and this one's already visited, so check stack to stack. This is the only one that is added, so it does that. QAppend, visited, dot append, regions, dot append, comes back up here, does the same thing for this element right here. Directions are correct. DRDC, updated row, updated column. If updated row, and all that. Yeah, so all three signs are good. This one is visited. None of this is done. It's not, this won't run true for any of them either. So updated row, updated columns, yep. And then this will end up being true once it's over, which, I think I noticed that. I think I also need a thing over here. No, do I? Directions. Yeah, I think I do. And then that should be good now. Okay, now if region captured. For region, select RNC, board RNC, and set all these to X's. Now for this one, it's gonna give a problem because while all of this stuff is true, well no, it's not true. But when you get to here, then it's gonna say it's false. I feel like I can make this case more exhaustive, but that's about it. Let's try running it, see what syntax errors I get. Okay. Error expected and array type not to match. Why is that a problem? Maybe I'll just like do this. Never mind. How did they do it in the other question? Oh, let me pull up number of islands. And let me just, because we're like at 41 minutes, so I think that I spent more than enough time on this question. How'd they... Oh. Interesting, okay, so bring that back. Yeah, that doesn't actually make much sense. Why do I have two elements in the array? Like, this is an array of integers. Like, it doesn't make sense to have an array of integer. Like, that makes more sense for like a tuple or something. Let's see. Run after if condition. There we go. And then working out a comma actually. So no append, so set add Swift. Insert. Interesting. Insert. Okay, I don't know the syntax, so I'm just going to do region.insert. No column. Cool. Cannot find regions. What do you mean? Cannot find region. Bro. Regions. Region. Okay. Oh. Well, if there's no X's, then we don't do anything. Why is there an entire error, bro? Okay. That was my attempt. I'm gonna pull up the Leetcode video. See what I'm doing wrong, if there is anything I'm doing wrong. But I think that was a good attempt. Well, ideally, so so after writing the code, I ran through a test case, kind of walked through it. It's not running. I didn't really state the time and space complexity at all, did I? Yeah. What's the time and space complexity? Vertices and edges being in all 4 directions. 4 edges, wow. Yeah, that's the time and complexity. No space complexity because we're just doing it in place. think. I'm not doing any recursion. Well, maybe this call to breadth first search is causing a bit of recursion. So there might actually be some space complexity. I don't know. Okay, so time space complexity optimizing. I don't think they're like I would like to make this better. Like I feel like this is not a great if like this, especially this if condition, because we've already checked for some of these cases up here. I feel like we can make it more like these. It shouldn't be like an if and if. It should be like an if and an else, or like that the cases should be very, very clear. And if there's more cases than this, then they should all be considered. Like the cases should be exhaustive. Just general practice. More optimization. If we can like figure out some syntactic sugar to clean this up. Yeah, that's like my revision. So ideally you want to do that at the end of your practice. But okay, I'm going to pull up the Leetcode video now.